before we move on to the semifinal rounds of the Ladies Southern Championship Tournament, a chance for the semifinalists to rest as the Women's World Championship is put on the line. Tatiana, the Golden Goddess, once again challenging the Queen, Dynamite Genie Parker.
This next bonus match, standard rules, one fall, with a 15-minute time limit, and it's for the RWL Women's World Championship.
This would be Titania's third attempt to get her hands on the Women's World Championship. The third time in the last 3 years. They've met a total of 5 times, but only 2 of those matches were for the belt. And Titania's come awful close, but just couldn't wear down Genie Parker enough to get the win.
And one of those times was a best of 3 falls match, and Titania dropped that one too.
Now on Genie's side of things, this is her 86th title defense, and the sexy soul sister of the squared circle is still 85-0. Guess the real question is, will the third time be the charm for Titania? Because if it is, the Golden Goddess would break Parker's insane streak and make some serious history for herself.
Well, she is a top star, a double champion, and ain't nobody in RWL has got a win-loss record with a championship like Dynamite Genie Parker.
Everybody always wonders, everyone always speculates, well, who could it possibly be that could possibly get a win over Genie Parker to take away the Women's World Championship? Well, so far, everybody and their mother has tried, but so far, nothing's happening. I don't think Titania's going to do it tonight either.
Damn right, a lot of us were convinced that Dione the Titaness was going to be it, that little Miss Snoo Snoo would be the one to take away the Women's World title from Genie Parker, and, they're friends and they joke about it back and forth. But even Dione, after 3 attempts, has still not been able to get the Women's World title away from Genie Parker. I'm with you right there, Myron. I don't see Titania doing it tonight either. It's going to take a miracle.
Well, just because we're in the middle of these 2 tournaments tonight, it would be the wildest, most random thing in the world for Tatiana to pull off an upset. Let's not rule it out, but I doubt it.
Introducing first, the challenger, West Hollywood, California, the Golden Goddess, Tatiana. Her opponent from Richmond, Virginia. She's an RWL double champion and the Women's World Champion, the Queen, Dynamite, Genie Parker.
Each and every time Genie Parker turns that title over to the referee before a match, she closes her eyes, she says a little prayer, and hopes that belt comes back at the end. Well, let's see what happens tonight. Tatiana examining the Women's World title, hoping she can get her hands on it.
There's a small number of people that say the title will eventually change hands, but an even bigger number think that Genie Parker's going to retire with that belt.
Well, let's focus on the here and now of this here match. The bell sounds. They come center ring. Genie spins Titania around with a hard right. Goes behind, gets a hold of both arms. Lamb slam. Right there. Face first into the canvas goes Titania. Genie Parker with a hard right to the head. Locks up Titania. Hard whip to the ropes and an elbow takes her down the mat again. Genie going for the quick cover here. One. Yeah, just one. I could have told her that wasn't going to work out too good. Titania counters with a kick, gets back up on her feet, delivers a stomp to the midsection of Dynamite Genie Parker. Snaps the arm. Titania rebounds off the ropes, misses with the diving headbutt. Genie Parker a little too fast. Kick to the midsection to Titania. Setting up a little pump handle here. Look at this. Oh, man. Nice powerbomb. Titania rolls out to the floor. Genie Dynamite all the way up on the top turnbuckle, changes her mind about the high-risk maneuver, decides to go out on her own. Locks up Titania. Has her up over the shoulder, walks her over to the apron, drops her head first into it. Ow. Oof. Titania got her knees up just in time for that one. There's a running drop kick that takes Parker down to the floor, while Willie Johnson continues to count. Tatiana rolls Genie Parker back inside the ring, follows her on in herself, locks up the champ, has her up over the shoulder again, slams her down, a reverse dominator kind of thing. The diving headbutt finds the mark that time. Genie Parker struggling to get to her feet. Titania rebounds off the rope again, another headbutt, and Genie Parker is starting to lose the momentum here as she rolls out to the floor. Tatiana on the other side of the ring making a beeline for the champ. Genie snaps out of it, gets a hold of Titania. Titania has her up over the shoulders. Samoan drop on the outside. And again the referee counting. Genie driven into the barricades by Titania, followed up with a stomp to the back of the head. Tatiana on an unholy mission here to become the new women's world champion. Genie Parker snaps out of it. Takes her time about getting back in there. She can. Titania with a throat chop, a chop across the chest, and a one-arm slam to the women's world champion. Genie Parker rounded up again. Titania with a whip to the ropes, ducks under, and an elbow takes Parker down to the mat again. Titania beating the head of Dynamite Genie Parker against the canvas. Genie rolls out to the floor. Comes on back in after a reset, locks up Tatiana. Escorts her towards the far right corner. Willie Johnson, get out the way. Oh man, Genie Parker setting it up here. Here comes the charge. There goes the clothesline, and down goes Tatiana. Genie Parker seems to be taking her leisure here. Locks up Titania. Whips her to the ropes. Another elbow takes her down on the mat again. Followed up with a stomp to the midsection. Titania counters with an elbow. Locks up Genie Parker. Genie up against the ropes. Titania turns her around. Choking Genie Parker with the top rope. Titania locks up Genie Parker again. Tried to set up for the powerbomb, but winds up in a back body drop. Nice counter from the women's world champ. There's a couple of stomps to the face of Tatiana. The Golden Goddess catches a discus punch from Genie Dynamite. Rebound off the ropes. Crossbody splash. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. One. But no. Well, Titania is powerful. And got herself out of that pin. Genie Parker charges. Oh, man, a knee right to the chest of Tatiana. Genie Dynamite all the way up on the top turnbuckle here. Titania stands up. Ooh! Diving shoulder. Takes Titania down. Genie Parker turns her over. Drives the knee into the mat. Turns her over again. Liked it so much he's going to try it a second time. It was so nice she did it twice. Genie Parker gets the leg swept by Titania. Tatiana with Genie Parker up in a bear hug center ring. The referee watching it, but Genie Parker right away going to work. Beating on the head of Titania. Tatiana gets herself out of that bear hug. A hard here we go. They're going to start trading shots back and forth. Titania, very powerful. Genie Parker might not be able to do this too long. Whoa! A quick counter from Titania. Genie with a chop across the chest. Titania counters with one of her own. Genie with a hard right. Titania with another chop. Another right from Parker. Another chop from Titania. How are they still standing up, man? Genie locks up Titania. She's had enough of that game. Whips her to the ropes. Makes the duck under. Here comes Titania. Makes the leapfrog and misses with the elbow. Titania puts on the brakes. Genie Parker. Ooh, man, with a guillotine leg drop. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, Dynamite Genie Parker retains the Women's World Championship again.
Time was 5 minutes and 51 seconds. Your winner, and still Women's World Champion, Dynamite, Genie Parker.
The Queen, Miss G7, does it again, denying Tatiana the title for a third time in 3 years and racking up her 86th title defense. Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with the rest of our tournament when we come back from this brief intermission. Stick around.